Hello, welcome to Nightmare Flicks. I am Nate. You are you, and every week after I watch the latest episode of the Chucky series, I bring to you my 5 biggest takeaways, and this week is no different. I got 5 takeaways for you from episode 6, so let's get right into it. Point number 5, Bree Wheeler. Bree Wheeler has been a consummate inclusion on these little takeaways and reviews, and a lot of it's had to do with being like, hey, what is she up to? The pilot episode, she has a little secret. Who's she talking to? What is she hiding? And we all kind of threw in ideas. When we started assassinating her character and expecting the worst of her, we thought that she was cheating behind her husband's back. Only to find out last week that no, this poor soul has stage 4 cancer. Really, really heavy, harsh, emotional subject matter. And then they just rush right through it and kill her in the next episode by pushing her out of a window and making it look like she killed herself. And her son's sitting in the car that she falls on and looks right into her eyes while she's all mangled up. I didn't care for that. I really didn't care for that. I know at the end of the episode, you can watch the little extended version, Dom Mancini's like, I think it's an awesome kill. It's really cool, man. I think it's one of the funnest things we've done. And I would agree that it's a pretty cool kill if it had been anybody else, but at times this series has really rushed plot points and really rushed character developments. It's kind of forsaking some of its most intriguing bits, and this was another example of that for me, and it just didn't leave a good taste in my mouth that we are seeing this woman harbor this secret because she can't come to terms with her reality. She doesn't want to ruin the lives of her family members or to bog them down and burden them, and so she's been harboring these really, really tough thoughts about her own mortality and how much time she does not have left. To see her get pushed out of a window in front of her child, like that's super traumatic, that's super heavy, and it's super outside of the tone of this series so far. This has been a very lighthearted, like wacky, zany series. And then you have this moment, and then we just speed right past it. I don't really care for that. There should be a lot going on here with Junior now, but he's kind of a side character, and I don't know they're going to give him the proper attention because he's not actually like Jake. He's not our protagonist. He's not our main character. But when you do something this big, I think you got to give it more time and flesh it out and do so respectfully. This is heavy stuff. Bree Wheeler, not the only adult to kick the bucket this week. Devin'S mom also died. And didn't like that death really either, not because of the like factors and the scenario and all that, just more so that it's kind of a lame death. She kind of gets tripped up and goes careening down a staircase and breaks her neck. Kind of lazy, kind of boring, kind of lame, something we've all seen 1,000 times before, not really that interesting, not a great slasher kill. But I guess it does get the biology teacher off the hook, right? Because she's in custody and the detective is trying to make her out to be the hack and sack slasher. So we now know that it's not her. Of course, we've always known, but now the town will know it's not her, that someone's still out there doing these things. Maybe it'll bring some unwanted attention onto the kids. Maybe people think that they are doing all of this. Who knows? We'll have to see where they take it, but just wasn't really amazed by that kill. It also begs the question, why is Chucky killing adults? No problem. He is just offing these hack and sack adults. No problem at all. But the kids, he's passing up opportunities left and right. Here, he has Lexi cornered, and instead he tries to convince Lexi to kill Jake for him. Why? What positive result can he net from this? Why? I didn't understand that. I don't know where they're going with that. I hope it's not just some little plot thing that gets dangled out and then forgotten about. But he also has a chance to do more damage to Jake. He hurts his leg, but then he just runs out the room, leaves Jake there on the floor. Has a chance to come for Devin because Devin's taser malfunctions. Doesn't. I think Devin even comments on this. So, we've had a bunch of flashbacks. I'm assuming in one of the next episodes we will see in a flashback that because Chucky is apparently from Hackensack, we know that now, that he had some sort of historical beef with these adults, or at least a couple of them. And so it's personal, and he has some sort of bigger picture plan for their children. That he finds that to be more evil and that's going to be a better way to stick it to them. But in the meantime, he can just off them as he pleases. I don't know. Throw down your ideas in the comment section for why do you think Chucky is sparing the children but killing the adults? Is it just plot convenience? And while you're in the comment section, I got another question for you here at point number 3. What is going on with this whole blood gag? So what I mean by that is, we have seen now that Chucky loses control of his possessed vessel when he views blood. That's how Nika is able to regain control of her being. As Chucky will be in her body and then see blood on something and then kind of hit the ground, pass out, and boom, we have ourselves Nika back. And yeah, it's great to watch Fiona Dorff do these scenes. It's really cool to see her portray Nika in one moment, to portray Charles Lee Ray in another moment, but Charles Lee Ray in a woman's body. Or it's also really cool to see her being Nika, but having to try to trick Tiffany, so she's Nika pretending to be Charles Lee Ray, but still being Nika, and all this. Okay, it's very, very layered, and it's very entertaining, and it's got to be a lot of fun for Fiona Dorff as an actress. She gets to make a lot of fun choices in the role. But what's going on with Blood? Because we know he got the whole voodoo spell so he could put himself into a bunch of different bodies at one time. Why would a slasher serial killer, though, choose a voodoo spell incantation that is going to render him kind of powerless should he see blood while once in one of these vessels? Does not make sense here. And you can say, well, that's not it, because obviously when he's in the doll, he's seeing blood. Yeah, you're right. That would be contradictory. But I don't know how else to explain why, when blood is around, he's passing out now. You got ideas? I would love to hear them, because right now it's not making a whole lot of sense to me. Number 2, we've been mostly negative, so let's say some nice things. Let's put out some excitement. All season long, we've been talking about, oh, Andy, what art thou? Oh, Andy's here. Andy has been going up and down the East Coast, apparently, following any sort of leads he has on where these Chucky dolls might be. All these different vessels that Charles Lee Ray has cast a little bit of himself into. He is tracking them down. He's hunting them down with Kyle, and they are killing them. That was fun. That was a cool little intro, seeing them go around, pretend to be like census takers, and then to see them shoot this Chucky doll to little bits and pieces. That was fun. It actually felt like a nice little dark opening when they were talking in the car and just storming. And you got to see this sort of foreboding sense. And you could tell that Andy is on edge. Just hearing him talk about his past with Chucky and where things might be going in the future, I thought that that was really nice. I've talked about that this series is way too wacky and goofy at times. That was actually nice. That was a little bit more of what I want to see for my horror series, so I did enjoy that. And I'm just glad that they are here, though. We have the Foster siblings. Kyle and Andy are back. Thank God. Can't wait to see it. They're in Richmond, Virginia, last we saw. They're on their way to Hackensack, so hopefully they'll be getting there by the next episode, and we'll see them start to get involved with our child group protagonist, and they can start to give them some insights on what's going on with Chucky, what they can do to take him down. They can team up. Can't wait to see what's going to unfold. All right, and for my last point this week, if you can't tell, not really over the moon with this series. I've tried, and I was very on the hook with the first episode or two. I was excited and I was optimistic. That being said, the really sporadic tone, some of the really poor acting we've received, some over-the-top camp at times, the weird stuff in the flashbacks where we're using the overdubbing of the voices of Brad Dourif and Jennifer Tilly, and it's just so goddamn distracting. There's just so many little elements in each episode that I'm like, whether it be a goofy, lousy kill that doesn't look realistic or scary or any of that in the slightest, or it be some awful dialogue by someone like Jennifer Tilly, whatever it may be, every episode has something that just makes me go, like a couple episodes ago, where Jake goes to save Lexi and she's dangling from the second story, and it's set up to be like her life is on the line, but from the camera angle, you can tell her feet are like this far off the floor. He could very easily just drop her or put her down. She's gonna be fine. And it's just little things like that all throughout this series. Every episode, there's stuff that I'm just like, this ain't it. Child's Play, this ain't it. I would prefer to turn this off right now and go watch some of my favorite Child's Play movies. And I hate to say that, but I'm being honest. And each week I've not really told you guys like what my overall feeling is. I've just told you about my 5 biggest takeaways. So I thought it was time to come clean and let you know that my biggest takeaway of all is that if we get a season 2, I don't know how excited I am going to be for it. That being said, I will be watching the last 2 episodes. We're going to see this thing through. And hopefully things get a little bit better for me. If you're enjoying it, then hey, I'm glad. Keep on enjoying it. Keep on loving it. Keep on effing with the Chuck. Other than that, though, you have a fantastic day. I'm Nate for Nate Flicks saying that's a wrap.